actually have a course, I believe, on the power of decision making.
Yes.
So I think, or I, on a daily basis, I encounter people who don't really get how important it is. Could you explain?
Decisions, if you look at binary code of life, or if you look at DNA, if you look at how life unfolds, it always makes micro decisions. And if you don't make these decisions, or if you're trying to, evade decision making, then it will come to haunt you, and you actually lose vibrancy and life force. If you stop making any decision, if your entire body, every cell in your body stops making a decision, you are dead. You're in a slab, right? And it makes you more alive. And even if you, I think the band Rush actually, if you choose not to decide, you still haven't made a choice. Well, that's what that is. You have to. Decision making is one of the greatest ingredients into manhood, masculinity, and mature masculinity particularly. And if you avoid decisions, you become like a jellyfish. I mean, you're spineless, you're an invertebrate creature, and nobody can touch you. And then this goes along with preferences and healthy boundaries and saying no. All these things are decisions. Even courage is a decision. It is something to choose to do in the face of overwhelming fear, or at least some fear. Otherwise, it's not courage. If you don't feel fear, how can you be courageous, right? So decision making. I mean, if you make good decisions, and if you talk to the honest ones, some people like to flatter the ego. I'm sure Donald Trump would probably do that, or any of these people up there. And nothing against Donald Trump, nothing for him. I have no opinion on the gentleman. But the point is, if you see these guys, if you talk to consummate decision makers, people with high power and high character, they will tell you that decisions are not something where you gather the facts and then you kind of like tweeze it and you make all these decision trees and you say 10 points for this, 15 points for that, against, pro, con. Those are little crutches that may help kind of shut up your conscious mind and the ego. But anyone who I've ever met that's a true, powerful, ethical, high character decision maker will tell you that most of the decisions, if not all of them, are intuitive, like gut feeling decisions that they make on almost very quickly. I think the more grave a decision, the more potentially bad consequences could be associated with it, the quicker I make those. I just know, right? And I feel into my heart, briefly I feel into my belly, and I know within seconds what the decision is. And 9 out of 10 times those turn out to be perfect. Not just correct, but beyond, almost perfection. Not striving for it, but just like unconscious competence. Whereas whenever I really think over something, like I kind of agonize over it, and it takes me forever to make. And there are those decisions where I kind of see, this is. The more I overthink it, the more paralysis by analysis, and it just doesn't happen.
The more it tends to be fucked up.
And those tend to be almost always off. And whenever I have listened to my head, it was a disaster, and I lost more than 100%. Whenever I have listened to my belly, and perhaps more importantly, my heart, or true intuition. People say counterintuitive. I would beg to differ, because true intuition is infallible. 100% of the time, 100% accurate. If it's true intuition. If you're off, it wasn't true intuition. It was your head kind of entering the picture and leading you, of course, like a magnet next to your iPad. It's just, you might have to calibrate your iPad in the car. And that's what happens. And those are other people's opinions and overthinking it, trying to be rational, trying to be Spock. None of this works. We make emotional decisions, and then we justify with logic, and we make those from a very deep place of intuition, and they turn out to be almost always correct.
So listen to your intuition and make decisions